Alright guys, here we're going to talk about the movie Drop Dead Fred. 1991's Drop Dead Fred. Lee, I know you've seen this one before.
I thought I had, but now that I have, I don't know if I did.
My God.
Yeah.
My whole life is a lie.
I'm saying.
Oh, this played a pivotal part in my life. I remember seeing this like fairly young, and then anytime it was on TV, I made sure to watch it.
Wow.
Yeah, no, this is a weird movie.
I've known of it my whole life, but I must not have seen it, or I just like somehow literally forgot all of it.
I think nostalgia carries me pretty hard through this one.
Okay.
I don't know that I would like it the same had I not seen it a whole bunch of times, because seeing it as an adult, a lot of these things are horrifying. I'm like, oh my God, invisible friends, the devil.
No, it sucks. Like, it is both bad for the reasons I would normally be like, oh, it's like poop and fart jokes or whatever. But it also doesn't make any sense, which we'll get into in like the deep dive discussion portion. But like by the end of it, I was like angry and upset. It's like, what is happening in this movie? I thought it was just gonna be like Beetlejuice, but like its own little
Beetlejuice,
vibe.
but an imaginary friend.
Well, yeah, but like the same sort of plot where like a thing and like, oh, she's gonna discover her life through this.
It does run in some parallels that definitely fall short of a true Beetlejuice comparison, but there are things that we can go into.
I'm glad that I accidentally fell in love with Beetlejuice instead of this, though. I feel like I dodged a bullet in a very serious way. We'll get into it, and I'm sorry that you love it so much, but.
Like I said, I don't love it as much as I did as a kid. It's still a fun, enjoyable movie that I would recommend to anybody who hasn't seen. But if you have seen it or don't care, follow us over to spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video, and we eat the competition.
Alright, so here we are for the spoilers of Drop Dead Fred. Lee, let me hear your spoiler-filled thoughts.
I did not like it.
Really, at all?
I mean, it's like the poo-poo pee-pee joke stuff.
Oh, I forgot to give you something.
So
your favorite?
I was instantly like, I'm going to hate this, and I see why Stefan probably loves this.
All alongside, all up there, lovely smelly dog poo.
But then by the end, I was like, this also doesn't make any sense.
All right, so let's go into that.
How could he like this? This is horrible.
Let's talk about the nonsensicals.
Okay.
Of Drop Dead Fred.
Oh, you want me to like?
I want you to list off your issues. Yeah.
Do you not have any issues?
I have issues. I don't know the same as yours.
Okay, no, because nothing makes sense. The whole point of the movie, like structurally, right? It's supposed to be, oh, this is her imaginary friend from childhood. Now she's an adult, and she's like, I don't know what, like dressed like not like a pilgrim, but like someone who is in a cult. It's like
what?
She's dressed in this weird dress that like normal people don't
I think
dress
she
like
dresses like a kindergarten teacher.
From a movie, though, not like a real.
Well, from this time period,
I guess. But I was just like, "What the hell's going on with this person?"
The 90s were a different time.
She has like the worst day ever, and then it ends with her getting her imaginary friend back, who then ruins her life. And the whole time you're thinking like, "Oh, they're gonna do something where like, oh, he was actually helping her by ruining her life," but he never was.
No. Hang on. So of all the flaws, this is not the one. So yes, her day starts off shitty. She gets dumped from her husband.
We can't go on.
Her purse gets robbed. Her car gets stolen.
Hey, that's my car!
She loses her job.
You're fired.
In a matter of an hour.
Why did she get fired? Because she was late?
She was late, presumably more than once.
They don't say anything about that,
We also don't know how late she was. If she had walked back from something like... Because I don't think they can do court without a stenographer there. So she might have delayed the taxpayers
they can't do court at
lots
all.
of money.
They can't do court at all when they fire her on the spot.
They probably have a sub.
Then what does it matter if she's late? This doesn't make
Fired.
Movie doesn't make any sense.
Regardless.
Okay.
I'll give you that one.
What?
But I said I'll give you that one. That if that's the reason she's fired, it's kind of dumb. But the things that do make sense in that she Fred ruins lives, like in no particular order. He destroys a houseboat, which is amazing. And you're almost like, how do you live here? This is great. Is this some sort of a tax shelter? What are you doing, Princess Leia?
Real quick, Carrie Fisher shows up, and I'm like, oh, this must be her mom.
Pain is your friend. It's your humanity. Pain makes you interesting. Jamie, look at Elvis. Yeah, but didn't Elvis kill himself?
But it's not. It's like her best
Yeah,
friend.
they have a different age.
Well,
definitely.
So then I was like, oh, I'm just throwing shade at like Carrie Fisher. I apologize. I must just no. She's fucking some silver-haired 70-year-old man.
Hey, are you coming back?
I'll be right up, Mer.
And it's not like so I'm like, no, she is old. Why are they friends?
I didn't look
What's
up
going
their
on?
age difference in reality.
Yeah.
It didn't strike me as too odd. Like, people have different age. You're
was
100 years older than I am.
It was
We get
so
along great.
weird. I'm like, what is happening?
But then
yes.
she gets a check.
Yes.
I would have thought that barge was worth this much. Not a barge. It's a river condominium. And I had no idea they were worth that much until mine finally sank.
For way more than she thought she was going to get, and
So-
she's not at all concerned with her weird tchotchkes or whatever.
Yeah, she lost all of her personal belongings
Yeah.
and all that
She
stuff.
seems like a weird hipster kind of person,
and she literally says, so like my reaction to that was like twofold. One, that's the thing that made me think they were going to reveal that everything was secretly good, but nothing else is secretly good.
Hang on.
Pause on that. The other part was she literally says, what do you think, I have imaginary friend clause in my thing?
He was way out of control. What do you think, that I have an imaginary friend clause in my boat insurance?
Janie, I'm so sorry.
In my houseboat, insurance, policy, and then by then I'm like, I guess you did. Like,
I
what
don't
is
even
happening?
know what would have been on the insurance claim, or what they'd be even able to find in a scenario where, because are you bringing it back up? Like,
I have
I
no
don't know
idea
what you
what's
do when
going
you
on.
sink a barge. And
I
it's like
assume-
a paddle boat. It's like the craziest. I would love to live there, honestly.
Listen. Okay, the boat's dope. It makes no sense. It's wonderful. But like, I assume for a check that big, there's some sort of like investigation that has to go into it. Something has to happen.
Well, I know.
and it
I
comes
forgot.
completely contradicted by the narrative.
About the check aspect,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting there going like, "Oh my god, Phoebe Cates is fucked." I'm like, that thing must be $1 million.
She's going to jail.
Well,
Yeah.
like, how would you explain this? He smashed the gauges. It's why I think.
Yeah.
So.
It isn't even like she sunk it by accident.
No.
Fred literally destroyed the boat. And it wasn't like Carrie Fisher's character was set up like, I'm stuck in a rut and I'm looking for a change in life, where
No.
sinking my ostentatious houseboat would somehow unlock my future or something.
But she also,
it's just
I
incidental.
think she's such a rich, like, she seems like the kind of person that is like more money than sense. And an interior decorator came in and just pulled that shit there, like she didn't care about it. Because when she says, "Yeah, I sunk your house," she's like, "Oh man."
It sank.
What?
I didn't mean for...
Like
she says something
so
like
little in the way
She says
of
like
upset.
everything I own was on that boat.
But
Just
how
something
she
like
says
that.
it's such a.
That's because she's a bad actress. This is because the character. Well, in general, yes, but
Really?
more
I
so.
really like her.
I like her. She's not a good actress, though. Listen, that's a whole other conversation for our Star Wars review. We should get into later. But you were about to say, like, yes, the pattern.
So, like, in my second thing is he cuts her hair while she's sleeping, which you're like, oh no, my hair, and then her mom forces it to be her haircut, but then she cuts it again, and now this is something where she went from this long haircut that her husband was not into, and then it was like, oh, va-va-voom, look at this new short haired, oh, you're a new lady.
Can I tell you something?
What?
You look fabulous.
I do?
So, like, she backhanded into a successful look there because Fred cut her hair. So ultimately, he knew what was the modern edge of, fashion trends.
And that's why he cut half of her hair?
Elizabeth! Wake up! No!
To force her into a change. Because she couldn't... She's a person that is complicit and lets other people make her decisions.
I am aware of
We can see
this,
that
yes.
directly by what her mom does. But then she finally takes charge and does her own thing. And that's cool.
Do you think that's why she has the third haircut only? 'Cause
I think...
if he had cut half of her hair into that...
I actually really liked that cut, and I would have kept it.
If he had cut half of her hair into that delightful bob, and then she had just evened it out. But that's not like what happened.
Well, what
right?
I'm saying here is
Yes.
that everything that Fred does works out for the best, even though it shouldn't.
It does. Okay,
So-
fine. So like the premise is supposed to be that he's supposed to be like wreaking havoc and in her life, but it's like supposed to be good. So like
Yeah.
yes, like her and like the new dude, right? They're there, and because he's I guess mentally disabled, he's like, I love it though. This is great.
I'm crazy.
You are crazy in the most wonderful way. God, I wish I could be like that. I wish I could do those kind of things.
But Fred's gone now. She's not going to keep doing that stuff. She's not going to Dharma and Greg forever.
No.
So their relationship is based on the false pretenses of her being puppeteered by a mad British man.
But Fred is not gone. Fred's with her daughter.
Well done.
And
She can't see him anymore.
Yes, but she'll still be there accepting these things that his daughter does, and nobody else would. So if she just happened to got that, she's the perfect person for it because she still remembers it. It's not an out of sight, out of mind thing.
That has nothing to do with her throwing the pasta plates around the restaurant.
But these actions that Fred did are what led her into the arms of this guy. So even though we take the things that he did that were legitimately good in any way you look at them, like saying, he's cheating on you, look at him right now.
Just look in there, please.
Annabella, she'll never know.
Like catching the husband and thing. Like,
that's the redemption at the end.
But what I'm saying
that's
is
like the actual thing.
That's something we can't argue about because that's obvious he's doing something good. Right. But even these things where, yes, throwing the pasta and screwing over their life and all that stuff. It led her to this path where ultimately she's going to end up with this guy who did care about her before he knew, because they say, oh, he's been in love with her since he was 6. When she's not crazy anymore, he'll still like her.
We could say that because the movie ends the way it does, that everything in the movie had to have happened, right? That's not an argument for the specific things that are chosen to happen.
Would not be that Fred's actions didn't ultimately prove good for her. It would be that, should we argue if Fred exists or not?
Yes.
So Fred clearly has to actually be a real imaginary friend because there are items that we see that he brings into reality. Now, or are we painting this picture as an unreliable?
Yes.
He writes a note that her mother sees.
Okay.
A note, Elizabeth, to you. It's from Charles. More bad news, no doubt.
Yeah.
Now, you could also say, if you wanted to argue it, like, oh, she woke up early, she wrote that note, she went back to bed, she's crazy as fucking shit, that's why they put her on pills.
Not the pills.
Why not? What do they do? Make you sick? Make you stupid? I'll take them. I'm Fred.
But I'd like to
it's
believe
all about
that,
mental illness,
because yes, she could have also been in the bottom of the boat smashing gauges and stuff.
You see, when something's not working right, the best thing is to tear it apart to make it better.
And then she beats a violinist. Like, she straight up sees him in place of a violinist and beats her. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you might be nuts.
What was that to set up? You'll be able to think of something, I'm sure.
Well, spending the mom's money because we hate her and we want her to spend money on a very expensive mall violin.
And Fred knew, because he can see the future, how that would all play out and that it would be good for her.
Haven't got a husband. Haven't got a husband.
But I like to believe that these are things that prove that a Fred exists. Something that I think is strange and an issue with the movie is this young, friend that she knew that she meets at the courthouse, who's been divorced for some time, but is somehow in the courthouse again for that reason.
No, I had a divorce here.
Divorce?
Yeah. We've been separated 2 years now. The good thing about it is, I got to keep my daughter. It's Natalie.
I don't know. Not important.
Yes.
If we're going to talk about bad writing, let's talk about this. He calls out Fred. Remember you had that friend Fred? And she does remember.
I didn't do anything to your grandmother.
No, you said the same thing back then. You said that Fred did it.
Drop dead Fred.
Yes. But then later when her daughter says, this is happening, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not me. It's Fred. You'd think at the very least he'd be like, Fred, that's a little fucking
what
strange.
The fuck? Are you brainwashing my daughter?
Yeah. But he acts like he's never heard that name before and it means nothing.
Let's not pretend. He's drop dead Fred.
What did you say?
The movie is very disconnected and loose and doesn't these are my major issues in general. Like Fred is supposed to be there either as a literal or like figurative representation of this
her inability to do things.
Her spirit of rebellion that her mom took and boxed up, or whatever, drove the father away. She's this overbearing, horrible mother. That was difficult, honestly, just just from things in my own life, watching this family drama unfold was actually like very upsetting.
No, she's a real bitch.
Don't you dare walk out on me. Elizabeth! Lizzie! I'll be lonely.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be like, okay, so like Fred, or like the idea of Fred, is like, well, you have to have this conflict with your mother, so I guess I'm doing these things just to like force that to happen early, like you need to face this, so I'm gonna fuck up your life so that will somehow lead to you fighting with your mom, and that will somehow lead to like the closure or something.
I'm not afraid of you!
Finally, the magic words!
Right? Which is fine, except then she falls and combines with Fred, and they go into her brain where and the whole time I was like, oh, they keep calling the mom like the beast, the something beast. And I'm like, so this, and like when they're inside of her brain, it's like Beetlejuice. Everything's warped, and like the staircase is so wide and like intimidating. It's like a child's view of everything.
Yeah.
I loved it so much, and I'm like, I can't wait for them to, because there's gonna be a mom monster, a momster, if you will, is gonna be there. They're gonna have to slay some sort of. It's just her mom.
Yeah.
And she's just like, F you, and she's like, F you though.
Just where do you think you're going?
Just forget her. Just say the magic words.
And then it like breaks the spell where she can go tell her mom like whatever. That's it.
She has to see her inner child and hug.
There's no thing or whatever. And then you're like, well then why was Fred ruining her life before she was fighting with her mom? Back when she was into mud pies and stuff.
I think
what's
the mom
going on?
was always ruining her life because
of course, yes.
It seemed like the mom had been like that from
that type of person
day one.
Must always be doing that, yes.
Because she even says, I had you to try to save my marriage.
Yeah.
I guess I made the same mistake a lot of people make. I had a child to save a marriage.
How can you say that?
Well, you made things worse. He left because of you.
She calls it out. That's terrible.
Such a horrible, horrible thing to say.
She deserves it.
She's a bitch.
Yeah.
She looks familiar. Like that's the one that plays the mom. And I wonder.
Oh, I looked her up.
Did you look at anything? She's like an attractive starlet that I could see in her 20s being something.
No,
I didn't look her up.
She has like a very long resume. I forget her name.
I would assume she really looks familiar to me in something.
She's somebody.
Oh, that's all you say to me is oh.
Thank you, Mother.
That's a good girl.
Yes.
Yeah. She good at anytime you can get a feling, it means you're a good actress. And I'm like, yeah, she might have been the best actress in the movie because I hated her. I was like, this bitch. Yeah,
absolutely. The other thing too is that at one point Phoebe Cates says, "I like the sound of the breaking stuff."
Yeah.
I love those breaking noises. Let's go.
Yeah, and Fred had also said that earlier.
Well,
I love those breaking noises.
So I was like, oh, this is going to be her reconciling with her schizoid brain psyche thing, and that doesn't really happen either.
No.
It's not really doing any of that stuff.
Fred himself is such a character.
He is,
and
in
I will
fact, a
say
character.
he was pretty great. Like, in what he is. He definitely gives a vibe of a fake, not real person.
How about hide and seek?
Great! I love hide and seek!
Great.
Because his eyes are like piercing. Like you can't take your eyes away from them. And I don't know if he's like slightly cross-eyed or if that's a choice or something, but I could not look away from his like darty fake British eyes.
You didn't even bother coming to look for me!
Yeah. I like that he uses British idioms, which she wouldn't understand or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is
also is another like, check in that he's probably real, because where would she pick this stuff up from?
I think she's in a coma the whole time. Oh. And that's the real hidden meaning of the movie.
Okay. Her husband is a fucking dirtbag.
Yeah.
We will want to see each other again. I mean, 2 years, we're not going to throw away 2 years, are we?
It was 3 years. In June.
And what so like he's cheating on her with what's her face?
Annabella, my little Chardonnay.
Here you are.
Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah.
Famous lady, can't remember her name.
You know the one. No, this whole time, this too didn't like register with me properly, because I was like, yes, she's just letting everyone walk all over her, but it's so surreal and so comically over the top and everything that I was just like, why are these people? These aren't real people. These are fake people. What's happening?
It doesn't even feel like they should be married. It feels like they should just be dating because of how they end. It doesn't feel possible.
Lizzie, come on now, don't do that.
We have to do it this way.
And the whole boat thing is because she thinks she sees him. I don't know if that's even him, but it's this, like...
I almost wanted that to be Fred.
Charles! It's got to be him.
Right, like there's so many weird, crazy things like that. Like I really wanted a really satisfying ending where all the pieces fall into place, and it turns out Fred was doing all this stuff that didn't make sense, at the time, and now it makes perfect sense. Whereas really it was just like, we fell down the stairs together, and that's why I was here. Like it's just this weird thing when nothing happens.
I like the primitive CG that's used in this movie. So from like him popping out of his Jack in the Box and bouncing around. Or every time she sneezes because she's allergic to gladiolas or whatever the fuck it is.
Very sexual.
Him whipping and flipping around the fucking place.
Gladiolas!
Some of them are better than others, but yeah, I enjoy them at the time. It was certainly, 91. I'm like, this is fucking great. What is this shit?
I liked his big pie face.
Oh man, that was fantastic. He got stuck in the fridge.
That happens really early too, so I was like, oh, this is going to be amazing. They're going to keep doing this, and they totally don't.
Yeah, that might be the best. It's a practical effect.
Yeah,
it's great. And yeah,
and he's like,
unsettling.
Yeah. It looks very like whatever.
It's well done.
Yeah.
Goodbye!
This movie feels like it takes place in a weird future because they go to the salon and there's some like VR thing that shows the many haircut options she could have.
There, you see what I mean? You look wonderful.
And I'm like, does that exist now? Like, what the hell is that?
It existed briefly in the year 1989, and never it didn't catch on.
It's kind of cool.
Same thing happens with glasses.
So you're all alone and you're all unhappy. So I had to come back and I can't get home again until you're happy. So why don't you get happy?
One more check in the crazy-ish thing is like, unless she has crazy inception, there's a part where they're in a doctor's office and Fred is seeing other invisible friends, but she can't see them because they're not her invisible friend. So in order for her to be truly crazy, she has to be imagining a scenario where he's talking to other people that he can see and that she can't. And that seems like it would be a little convoluted. And I don't know if Phoebe Cates would do that to me.
What are you doing?
I am playing with my friends.
Hey, Freddy!
I guess I'll just practice arguing against it because arguing is fun. Right before that happens, she is literally told by the other woman there, oh, you're in like an imaginary friends specialist. And she looks around the room seeing all the baby kids who have imaginary friends. And it's a funny thing where she's like, I'm an adult and I have an imaginary friend. So that's probably why she's thinking about all these other people's imaginary friends and how must that be or whatever.
Well, he's one of the country's leading experts in dealing with the imaginary friend syndrome. Your child has one too, huh?
You're giving her a lot of crazy credit.
I don't even, like, I'm normally the type of person to want to ponder the question of, like, is she crazy or is Fred real? But I think, like, the movie is very clear about Fred being real. I think, like, any sort of, hope that I would have had to believe that this is just a part of her and all that stuff, because it's like, completely undermined. Also, like, is that the same Fred? Do people just get their own Freds? That seems like the same Fred.
That was something that I was wondering myself.
He doesn't say anything like, hello, don't tell her about me, we've had a thing, and I'll, whatever, Bob's your uncle, apples and pears.
Fred can see everybody, so it's very strange, I don't know. Maybe they were waiting for, Drop Dead Fred 2, when Phoebe was going to be the babysitter that's hired on full-time.
Army of the Freds.
Yeah. I also kind of wanted all the other imaginary friends to be just Fred in different outfits. That would have been fun.
Hey, this is great! The whole gang's here! Yeah. Let's have a sick contest!
Ooh. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
I hated all those friends. Do you like those people?
Not a single one.
That was all terrible, right?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Go to hell, Herman! Fred!
So I neglected to mention this earlier, but I think it's important. In that inside her brain scene, right before he's like, I can't go with you. We gotta say goodbye now.
But I want you to come back with me.
Well, that's just tough. You have to go alone. I can't get back now.
And he says, like, give me a kiss and then leave. And I can't tell you what I pictured would happen, but I didn't picture that they would kiss on the lips. Not passionately. No. It's not a French kiss, but it's like a kiss with lips. And I'm like, what?
Just kiss me and say, drop dead, Fred. No.
Drop dead, Fred.
Yeah, because think about this happening. So, like, she got over her imaginary friend very late in life.
He has known her since she was like 5 years old, maybe younger.
Yes.
That's creepy.
But your average, person losing their imaginary friend, assuming that this is the way you get rid of all of them, could be like 7 and kissing this older
making
man
passionate
on the face.
love to this guy in a luchador outfit.
I do like that you mentioned
cool.
He's known her since she was 7, and a lot has changed. It's like 20 years later, and he slides on that banister that didn't once have a ball at the end. He's like,
Oh! Who put that there?
Oh, where did that come from?
When that happened, I was like, Stefan likes this part.
I did like that.
He
part.
does. The nut shots are always the good
you.
thing or whatever.
Yeah. The flashbacks are fun. I like the young Phoebe Cates. I think it's a cute kid. Them doing their little things, like the burglary is interesting.
What is it?
It's time to play burglars.
Real burglars.
Real burglars. The kind that wear sweaters and Buster Browns.
At first, I was like, "Oh, this is whatever." But then, in like the second or third flashback, the kid has lines.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, let's cut her head off," and all that stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, this is amazing."
Yeah, they're talking about eating her mother and then pooping her out on the table.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we'll cut her head off.
With scissors.
Yeah, and then we'll make her eat it.
Make her eat her own head.
Yeah.
With what?
During that robbery scene,
a
lot of great things happen. So, like, aside from them just, like, burglarizing their own house and destroying things, the cops come at one point, and they kick in the door, like, in the worst way possible, just breaking in the bottom of the door. I thought that was funny.
It's fine.
They don't know how phones work in this movie. Fred steals the phone.
What should we steal now?
How about the telephone?
Yeah, good idea. That's probably where the diamonds are hidden.
Yeah, great idea.
And somehow that turns the phone off upstairs.
Hello?
What's the matter? Where'd they go?
Hello?
Where'd they go?
They've cut the phone line.
Oh my God.
I'm like, okay, what?
It's magic.
Everything she does is magic.
Every little thing.
She does big things. Let's
That's
be
true
real here.
too. No, the other movie that I wanted to reference with this was Little Monsters.
Yeah, no, it has Little Monsters vibes.
I had that vibe. Yeah.
Not as good, but
the only part of this movie that I remembered vividly was when he comes out of the box. And I think that was just a part of a trailer or some other, like, you know what, when like TV stations or like movie companies would play like a sizzle reel of like 40 movies or whatever, that little like part, I think that was just in there. Because I think, or the first, like Fred doesn't show up until like 15 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
So the first part of the movie is the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life. So I think like as a child, I would have been like, why are we watching this movie? Right? There's nothing for me in here yet.
Yeah, who is this movie for?
No one.
It's very strange.
Insane.
It's like, I watched it as a kid and I enjoyed it, but it doesn't really feel like a super kiddie movie because a lot of these concepts you wouldn't understand.
It deals with themes of like trauma and like dealing with your parents and like a physical manifestation of your childhood urge to like rebel against authority, but like sad and old now and this weird thing. Like these are very, and like not in a fun way where it's like, oh, he farts sometimes so it makes up for it. It's very dark and weird, but in a way that I don't like. I normally love that.
Yeah, and if you're a child, it doesn't teach you like, oh, you should be doing these things.
You should be sharing.
There's not a proper moral for a kid here.
That's true, actually. If anything, it'll get you in trouble. Right?
Yeah. I do love Carrie Fisher dragging her chair out of the boardroom.
I'm just gonna borrow this. I'll be back a second.
Fully buying in, like, this invisible motherfucker sunk my house. I gotta get him. And then is throttling. What does it look like I'm doing? It's just like slapping her shoe.
So like, I don't think Carrie Fisher's a good actress, but I think that she's a funny person.
Yeah.
So when she's like, I'm running for Congress, what does it look like?
What are you doing, Miss Chagrou?
I'm running for Congress. What does it look like I'm doing?
was like, nice.
And you ruined the only shtup I get once a month?
That was an interesting vibe too, where they reveal in that way, in this consequence-free, no payoff ever way, that like that weird old dude she was banging is married. Where I'm like, shouldn't that be something?
Well, your mind already goes like, he only comes by once a month. I'm like, okay, is this his house and he travels for business? This is a really nice house. Oh, you're like a lawyer or something. Okay, it's your house. Oh, affairs. I've got you.
That's what those people do. They love it though.
Hey.
So you're saying, like, who is this for? It's weird. If you click on the director, it's a foreign dude who's done a bunch of weird movies that don't look anything like this, or are like horror almost.
Very few movies look like
or
this.
like artistic or stuff. No, but like, you would imagine whoever did this, like, oh, you did like Beethoven's Third or something. Some dumb, oh, you're just like working and making movies where it's like, what is this shit? All right, I'll film it.
What
like,
is it, paycheck?
You're just that guy. Yeah, but it's not. It's some like Dutch or Swedish dude or something.
Dutch
which,
makes sense to me.
I made that up. So it probably makes sense
maybe
to us, but not, exactly. It feels Scandinavian, and it's unsettling. I don't like it.
Because we're not afraid of anything. Yeah! 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 Quick, hide!
The eye pop and the ear steam as he looks into a girl's crotch.
Oh, that was terrible.
Yep, brilliant. That probably cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That stuff is so bad. Do you like that stuff?
I like that.
I've lost all respect for you. Yeah.
Okay. So just picture those things. Like, they spent so much money for that stupid gag.
Yeah.
The panties. No panties.
It's like a The Mask thing.
Yeah, it's a worse version of The Mask. But like the same year.
Before The Mask or no?
No, same year.
Well, they couldn't have been aping off each other at that point, right?
What I mean is they both
in production
have an idea that's bad.
No, The Mask is good.
It's better.
I haven't watched The Mask in 100 years.
We'll do that one day.
Put them to stand there, do something. Come on. Come on, kiss him.
There's a guy who plays the doctor in this who looks like a skinny Dr. Phil.
Let her take these after meals and before bed.
Are there any side effects?
No, none. They just neutralize that part of the brain which is malfunctioning.
Did you catch that? The doctor's, yeah. Who's like, I give her these pills, these giant fucking pills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's time to say goodbye to your friend.
Green pills.
The green ones.
And if you take all 10, your imaginary friend dies.
Okay. This is the kind of stuff that I like. Where like she takes the pill and like I'm thinking like, oh, they'll probably have him like fading away and going, oh no, don't do that or something. But he goes, oh! He goes like he's like passing a kidney stone. He's doubled over in pain. He collapses and begs her not to kill him. She's like, I'm killing you. And like that's I wanted more of that and less poo poo.
It's so strange to me that like he's like a being that could be contained with masking tape.
Yeah.
Like,
because it's a metaphor. Yes, it has to be a metaphor.
Well, it's because she said
Yeah.
he'll die if you don't fucking leave him in this box. And she left him in that box forever.
Elizabeth, if you ever touch this again, I'm going to throw it in the trash. And do you know what will happen next? He will be crushed to death.
Her immediate threat was,
She says she's going to kill him.
Yeah, I'll throw him in the dumpster. You know what happens in the dumpster? He'll get crushed to death. Like, which is, again, she's a fucking baby, you fuck. God damn. And the dad seemed like a good guy, but it's weird. They don't mention him at all. He literally was like, I don't like her raising our daughter. I'm going to walk out of her life forever.
It's not right.
What would you know about raising a child?
Apparently nothing.
That was his, all right, I guess what?
It was a different time.
Different time.
It was a different time.
He didn't even say he was getting cigarettes. He just left.
He just left.
Yeah.
He was British? What was he, Nigel?
Oh, was he British? Is that where she got her slang from?
You shouldn't say things like that about your mother. She might cut your head off.
I think so.
My God.
Oh my God.
She is crazy.
We cracked the case. The one linchpin. So something else that I really liked was that for the first like hour and a half, almost hour 20 minutes or whatever, whenever Drop Dead Fred is just suddenly there, Phoebe Cates screams.
Ah, there's the base! Yeah! What happened
happened to you? Look at you. You're all older.
Like, or something like that. Whenever he shows up and goes, hello, and does his thing, she just
does
screams
spring up out of
stuff.
nowhere.
Yeah.
Shit yourself.
Yeah. But like, I really appreciated that because it kept going beyond the point where that like felt normal to do, and it felt excessive and like interesting to me. Well, I'm like, yes.
You know, they also did really good about like, so he's often puppeteering her, moving her around, and then when it cuts to her him not being there, she has to do it, and I think she really sells those things.
Have I got him?
She did a great job in that aforementioned dinner, lunch, but like fancy restaurant scene.
I kind of felt like I was back in high school again.
Like pour soup or whatever.
She was really good at like making her face look like she didn't like what was happening or like wasn't doing it
I didn't
herself.
care for that like childhood friend guy that much, but that one thing was like, why did you do that?
Why did you do that?
I didn't.
Oh, no, you did, because I saw you do that.
Like, like how he said it, I was like, oh, that was pretty good. But every time he feels like a fake person. Like, oh, you auditioned for this. I can tell. Like,
I wasn't sure if he was trying to be fake or if he just didn't know what movie he was in. I think literally every actor might be imagining this to be a different film based on what they're doing.
It's possible.
Which again, like, it's a beautiful mess. I'm not saying like whatever. This is so strange. I want to make a 3-hour video essay about it, but I don't like it. I'm not like happy.
There's a part at the end where I thought that like the husband, like she dumps the salad on his head, and I was like, he reacted so poorly. Like he didn't like sell that at all. I don't know what was supposed to happen there. But then she redeemed that scene so hard because she commits so much to like picking her nose and rubbing it on his cheek.
I forgot to give you something.
We're like, in most movies when like, oh, I am a starlet, oh, I'm a sex symbol, I'm an actress, whatever, is told to pick their nose, they're usually just like just around the tip of the nostril, like, and she's like all the way up in there and like, and like gets him, and I'm like, all right, Phoebe, get it.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah.
I had the same reaction. I feel like the way the shot was framed, they told him, like, you can't move your head back too much or something.
He didn't react.
I remember being like, this sucks. What are you doing?
Or if you're going to do that, maybe put more olive oil or something in vinegar, like, because it was just like, it happened. I was like, that's really, okay. He'll just go like this and pick it up and it'll be.
No, it's like a food fight on like the Muppets.
Yeah, maybe someone just having spaghetti would have been better. And it even says, making a sexy salad.
Please, it'll be the most romantic, wonderful, romantic salad.
A romantic dinner salad.
Yeah.
Sounds not sexy. Meatballs and spaghetti, bitch. That's sexy.
Now that's
all
sexual.
Kinds of slurping.
That's what you. When you're full of pasta,
you
want
to
fuck. Yeah. Fred also has tattoos on his knuckles.
I'll just touch that one a bit. No, okay, I won't touch that one.
I noticed that. So, like, you only really see it for a moment.
When he goes to touch the...
Yes. And I'm thinking, he has those.
Well, I was like, does he have those? Is that a hand double in like a pickup shot that has them? You wouldn't use a hand double that has knuckle tattoos.
I was a hand double during the filming of a movie, and I have a knuckle tattoo.
Spoilers.
And they just had me dunk my hands in mud. So I went like, oh, yes, I'm dirty.
All right.
It was very funny.
So then I was like, are they hiding the tattoos in other scenes, or can you just not see them because of the distance or the grain or something?
I saw it, and I almost was, I never rewind or anything, but I almost like rewound on that to see what it was. And I'm assuming it's just the actor and the makeup just wasn't applied because they didn't think they were going to see it that time or something. And that guy just happens to have it. And there's only so many crazy people in the world that could play that part, and he happens to have knuckle tattoos.
Yeah, he's some sort of British comedian or something like that.
Anyway, you'll still never win because nothing interesting ever happens to us. Stop being so boring, Rick. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? That's very nice. Coming from someone as boring as you.
You mentioned Fred writing a note. Mm-hmm. I'd like to mention Phoebe Cates as a child writing a note.
Dear Drop Dead Fred, you were my only friend. But she took you away from me.
Yes,
because
in hieroglyphs.
It's just kid hieroglyphs, but and I was like, oh, that was great. It was just in there for a second. It was this little thing, but then it cuts to Fred.
If you come back, I promise we'll run away together. See that? Promise.
Reading it, being like, you said you promised right there. Look at that, and he's pointing like a triangle or something. And I'm like, oh, it's so fucking good.
It really is.
And the last thing that I wanted to mention was cornflake disease.
But on the way there, I caught cornflakes disease.
And he's just exploding. And she's like, yes!
It's so sad seeing her pick up those cornflakes, though. I'm like, she's a broken woman.
Right?
Life sucks. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Well, what does that taste like?
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinions you can really trust.